Radio Active 90.4 MHz, Bangalore's first community radio station. Listen up, listen up, listen up. Get active.
Hello, this is Preeti. The Preeti Bhuyan talk show is a platform to speak out your mind. I feel every person has something wonderful and unique inside their mind which may be worth listening, and it may be motivate or inspire others. Preeti's talk is about fitness, inspiration, motivation, sharing knowledge and celebrating womanhood. Stay tuned, stay connected. This is Preeti with loads of love. Welcome to the Preeti Bhuyan talk show. I bring people here in front of you who has something beautiful in their mind, in their heart, which may motivate or inspire you, or maybe it's worth listening. I am the host Preeti Bhuyan, and the guest today is Smita Chakrabarty. Smita is an Indian Ironman winner and Ironman certified coach. Smita had completed 3 half Ironman and 1 full Ironman. The girl from Assam lived in Mumbai, and now presently she is in Canada. Let us know from her itself what she want to share with us today.
So, lived from Assam, yes, but I never lived in Assam as such. I was brought up in Bombay. My father was working in IIT Bombay. So, I grew up on IIT Bombay campus, and we had all the facilities available there to do whatever sport we wanted. So, as I was growing up, I got into swimming at the age of 7.5, 8 years old. I did well. I did up to national levels in swimming in the age group.
Oh, super. That is.
Well, now when I look back, I think it was quite an achievement. Back then, I didn't think it was an achievement at all, because that was part of our lives. That's how we, that's how we lived. We trained 1 hour, 1.5 hour in the morning, another 2 to 3 hours in the evening, and that's all that life consisted of, and other than school in between.
Life started from swimming.
And so my parents also put me in swimming because I was a terrible eater as a child. And I was very thin and very sickly. There were times when, doctors said that, she's only surviving because of the vitamins that she takes. So once I started swimming, all that changed, and I grew into a very healthy and strong child. And that was the basic intent of my parents putting me for swimming. But that eventually led to a lot of things. So then I stopped competitive swimming at the age of 16 or so when I got into my 12th standard. And I just finished my 11th, and that was the last year I did any national level meet. And my parents were obviously like, you have 1 year to go and you have to focus on your studies, because back then, it was even tougher to do anything else. You had to do well in your academics.
True.
Now there are many more options still, but yeah. So that, and then gradually the sports part of my life slipped away. Although I continued to help people once in a while. I coached people in swimming, basic technique on how to swim and things like that. Then graduation, master's degree. I taught for a couple of years at the Assam Valley School after my master's degree. So that's when I was again active, because I was also the swimming coach there. Then I think from 2001 until 2014, I was completely off touch. I was not in touch at all. And in between, a lot of things happened. I got married. I was in Bombay on my work. Then we moved to the UAE, and that's when triathlons happened. As in, I saw that there is a local Abu Dhabi International Triathlon happening in 2014. And I registered for the sprint event, and I started training for that all by myself. And before that, there was another small local event. So I did that as well. And before you know, once you do these events, you are just hooked to it. So I really, really loved doing those 2 events, and I thought that, it is a good thing, and let me continue as far as I can.
Right.
So that's how it went along. Then I had my son in between. In 2015, he was born.
Right.
So then I got back again 6 months later, saying, okay, let me get back in shape and let me get my fitness back. And it was very difficult those first few months.
Right.
Because of that.
That's really wonderful. I must salute your courage.
women like us, what happened after the baby born, it's sometimes becomes difficult to come out or get into the shape. It's become very difficult, and you did it and you prove it. It is not impossible. There is a wish, there is a will, there is a way.
Yeah, but it was really, really painful in the beginning. Painful in the sense because your core muscles are completely destroyed. And then I had a C-section, which was even worse. So there were times when, I would just go out to run and I would come back crying because I know I'm capable of running 10 kilometers, but my body is not allowing me to go beyond 2 kilometers. So, yeah, so it was very tough, but initially, but then gradually.
But the willpower.
Yes,
True.
with a lot of willpower and a lot of consistency and commitment, wanting to come back every day despite the pain and everything. I came back and started doing small, short events again.
So you are staying presently in, it's called Alberta, right?
Yeah, I'm in Calgary, which is one of the bigger cities in Alberta.
Now, like to come back to the triathlon thing. So, how you are related with that?
With the officiating part of it?
Yeah, officially. And see, mostly you train them.
So what I do is, most of my athletes, they're in India, so, surprisingly.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Yeah. As in, I started coaching last year. After I finished my full Ironman, that was in 2017,
Okay.
I decided to go for the Ironman coaching certification. It's called the Ironman Certified Coach program.
Okay.
So I did that program and I completed in 2018. And since then, I have been coaching people in India, let's say from May 2018. Yeah. And I do it online, most of it.
Oh, that's superb. Is it possible triathlon training? It's very hard. See, triathlon, first of all, finishing, going out for women for a walk or run itself is a difficult. And more than that, again, triathlon. And then that to training. It is like, it's very difficult. Thinking itself, I am, can't even imagine. Give us idea how you do it online.
Well, I just give them the training I just give them the workouts that they are supposed to do on a weekly basis. I take a look at what they have done in the last week, and then I, go ahead and build the next week for them on how they are supposed to train. It is for the athlete to go and execute what he or she has to do. So basically, what they do is it is tough in India. So and I coach mostly women.
I'll just interrupt. From India, how many women are there who have completed full Ironman?
At the moment, I think a total of less than 15.
And you are the one. Yes, you are the one of them.
No, I was. I think I was 7th or 8th.
Okay, from
When
India.
I finished it, from India. And I know the first few. I know the names of the first few. There was Anu Vaidyanathan, there's a lady called Shirin Yusuf.
Okay.
Then, quite a few Indian ladies before me. And then now I think we are around 14 or 15 number going on.
Okay.
So
From India.
one of my athletes, she's doing it next month in Copenhagen. And so she will probably be the 13th or the 14th one, I think, from India. Yeah.
So coming back to your training part. So
And-
you do
and
online.
And the reason, of course, why, because there are a lot of women from India who are capable of doing an Ironman. I believe so. I know there are women who have done the Comrades Ultra Marathon.
Correct.
So they have that kind of stamina. They have built that kind of endurance. But triathlon, there are a few things that prevent people from doing it. One is, of course, the safety of being out all the time and training outside all the time. And I'll come to how that can be, compensated for in a short while.
True.
And then there is also doing 3 different sports, 3 disciplines. So it also turns out, more expensive.
Correct.
Because, you have to have a pool membership, you need to have a bike trainer indoors,
Correct.
you need to have a bike. So all these things here. Because you can't be riding with the kind of traffic we have in India, you can't be riding outside all the time.
True. That is true.
So,
that is always true.
So it makes it a little bit higher budget. Second thing. And third thing is obviously safety, because most of us are working. So you have either early morning or late evening to go out and train.
True,
and
true.
those are the times which are not very safe.
Convenient and safe,
Yeah,
correct.
and safe for India. So what most of my girls do is, I mean, if they have a gym membership, they have access to everything. So obviously, pool, it depends on where you are staying, and some of them have a pool membership, some of them go to a public pool and pay and swim. Some of them have a pool in their society, which is big enough to train. Minimum 20 to 25 meters is what you need. And then trainer and bike is, I mean, your bike can be fitted on the trainer, so indoor trainer, a very basic one is good enough.
Okay.
And treadmill, if not, then you need to figure out what time is safe and which area is safe for running. And all this through their Garmin watch and the sensors that come with the watch is recorded, and I can see what they are doing
Right.
online.
Right.
So I can see how their heart rates are going. I can see, what cadence and what leg speed they're riding at and things like that. Yeah.
Just wanted to ask you here, when they will do running in a treadmill, or maybe they will fix the cycle at home, when they will practice indoor, and that day on the final day, it will not be difficult.
Yeah, which is why it is such a fine balance between training indoors and outdoors. So what I do is I prescribe some runs that they can do as a group, which are usually the long, steady, easy runs. So they can join any running group in their town and do that with them. So they're in a group, they are safe, and they're also running outside.
Oh, okay, like that.
So,
So
yeah,
mostly they can practice indoor, and apart from that also they can go in a group. Maybe they can go and practice sometime
Yes,
and
yes. I
outdoor
really
also as well.
encourage that, because then, they go out with other athletes. Maybe they are not triathletes, they are runners. But when they talk, they, kind of get other people into triathlon. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this is because I like triathlon as a sport, and I would like to promote it among as many people as possible, right? Especially women.
Right.
And it is also lesser, if people can afford it, then it is also lower impact on the body. As in, you don't only run, because running is really high impact. But if you do triathlon, then you're automatically cross-training in your swimming and cycling.
Right.
So it is kind of preventing injuries right away.
Oh,
Because of overuse, if you're constantly only running, a lot of people get injured and then they end up quitting or never coming back, or getting long periods of layoff because they've been injured. So that doesn't happen when you do dry training. You have three sports to keep your fitness up with. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
So that
but I say that it's not easy. It's not easy. So how do you motivate them? Either you have to have very strong willpower to do this one. General people, maybe it is like impossible. It's almost impossible. Somebody, when they will make their mind, yes, I will do the Ironman. You also have to motivate a lot.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
but at this stage, these are all seniors. I mean, people who are working and mature people. So most of them comes from within.
Okay.
I cannot be the one pushing them to do it as such, but they come to me with a certain goal in mind, that I want to do an Olympic distance, or a half Ironman distance, or a full Ironman distance.
Okay.
And I start training them depending on what their abilities are at that moment and where they need to go in that given period of time. And whether we need to first see if it's a realistic goal, and if not, we need to reset the goal and say, hey, okay, right now you do a half Ironman, and then another 6 to 8 months later we'll see if we can do, after you finish the half, we'll see if you can do a full. And people do tend to, get tired and lose motivation, because it is an in and out process, isn't it?
Right.
So, yeah, and it is a process. It's not like it's happening in one day. You have to build everything, right, from your technique to your endurance to everything to that level.
Correct.
Right? So, people do get tired, people get demotivated, but my job there is just to show them the bigger picture and say, look, you wanted to do that, and that's why we are here.
Right.
You wanted to achieve that half Ironman or that Ironman on so and so day, and your race day is looming, and you have to, keep focused. and it's a step-by-step thing. So you do your job today, you get closer to your goal.
As of now, how many are there you that who is going recently for Ironman?
I have one that is doing an Ironman in 1 month. I have another one who will be doing half Ironman in January. Then I have a guy who will be doing a full marathon in January. So he only runs, so he will be doing a full marathon in January.
Right.
So my numbers, I mean, in terms of numbers, I still have very few, but it's okay, and I prefer it that way, so I can give them more time.
More time.
And I would rather have lesser number who are sincere and working hard, rather than a whole lot of people who are not able to keep up. I mean, who want to eventually do something, but not able to keep up with the training, and it's not satisfying for me. So I would rather have less number, but sincere bunch of people working with me.
That's fine. That's really fine. See, maybe it is a lack of awareness also, that there is a training, proper training maybe. Maybe people, when they will come to know, yes, someone is there to help them. Definitely many
I've
people.
also had people leave, as in, because they felt that it was too much.
Oh, okay. People,
That the consistency that I was asking for them, that you have to be doing this. If you have to achieve your goal that you have told me, then you have to be doing it in and out. It's not much. It is just about organizing yourself and getting that 1 hour or 2 hours of training in every day. Okay. So then there are people who have left, who have said that, I can't do this every single day of my life. I mean, I have other things to do. I said, yeah, fine, no issues.
Yes,
when you decide on doing it, you have to show up and you have to get it done.
Okay, yes, right.
Yeah.
Suppose you are doing training for someone who is going for Ironman now. So how you decide, like, what is the schedule? Want to know a little bit of, about your training part. How you divide in a 7 days, how you divide, what they have to do in each day?
Totally depends on the athlete and his own strengths and weakness that I will assess, and I give them the training according to that. So yeah, and those are very, very personalized plans.
Oh, it is
so
personalized
it's not
plan. Okay.
yes, completely
It depends on the person to
Yes.
person.
So if there is somebody who's a very good cyclist and a very good runner, but not a very good swimmer, then I have a different approach with that person. And if there's someone who is like a decent swimmer, good runner, not a very good cyclist, then I have a different approach with that.
Oh,
So,
it is like
yeah.
that. Okay. So each person training will be different, and
Yes.
depending on the person, and
Yes,
or maybe
depending on the person and his or her abilities at the time when he's joining me, and as we progress through. Yeah. So if you would like to say, if you'd really like to know if they do a triathlon every day, no, they don't.
Oh, they don't. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a balanced kind of thing, depending on the ability and how much load they are able to take, how much time they have. It can be 2 swims a week, 2 rides a week, 2 runs a week.
Oh,
or,
like that. That is what I am asking.
2 to
It is
3. Minimum is 2. So 2 to 3 swims a week, 2 to 3 bikes a week, and 2 to 3 runs a week. And then there is also strength training, because not everybody is gifted with a strong body in order to take all that much of working out.
Right.
So there are also 2 sessions of strength training that they do every week. Yeah.
Okay, like that. Okay, fine.
That way,
Or it will be any race day also? Rest, I said.
Definitely. At least 1 day off.
1 day off.
In a
Okay.
week. At least 1 day off in a week is what I do. And sometimes when they are in doing high volumes of training and they are not feeling too good because they've trained too hard on a certain day, like if they're doing an Ironman, probably the longest ride they will do is 6 hours, followed by a 1 hour run or something like that. So if they are feeling tired the day after that, they get a rest, and in the following week they are allowed to take another day depending on how they feel. So rest is important, because then that's where you recover, right?
Recover, right.
Yeah.
So apart from the physical fitness, physical training, do you support, do you believe that they have to take supplement, or maybe, proper diet, or all these also you include in your training, or they have to? how you guide them?
The thing is, I guide them for their race day nutrition because it's a long event and they have to be eating and drinking during the event itself, during the race itself, in order to survive.
Okay.
And I guide them for that. I am not a nutritionist, so I don't advise them on what they should be eating and how they should be cooking and what is good for health and what not.
Okay.
But I give them an overall guideline as to how much of protein and fat and carbohydrates they should be consuming at what phase in their training.
No, like that. Okay.
Because you don't want to overburn and start losing muscle from your body. So I give them an idea as to because if they're training really hard and long, then they should be consuming a certain amount of protein and certain amount of carbs, certain amount of fats, and fruits and veggies and things like that.
Right.
So I give them an idea as to how they should be doing that.
Right. So that means you said with that physical training, food, nutrition, everything is important to go for this.
Yeah, because if your food and nutrition is not proper, then you are not charged up enough to go and do the job. Gradually you have a burnout.
What else you want to tell me? Because you have more idea about this Ironman than me.
Well, the basic thing is what I say is that if I could do it, anybody can do it. It's just a matter of
do you
absolutely.
feel so?
Absolutely. And I'm not joking. I'll tell you, I'll give you an example closest to home. I'll tell you about my husband. He was somebody who would never like to run at all. Okay, he didn't do an Ironman because he doesn't swim. And he doesn't, I don't know if he would like to learn how to swim sometime, but he hasn't ended up swimming yet.
Okay.
But when I was pregnant, I had just joined this group of people who used to train together in Abu Dhabi. Okay. And I was advised not to go out initially for the first couple of months.
Okay.
To go out and run and ride and all that. So my husband started going out with these people and with this group. Okay. And he started liking it, and he's not somebody who had run a lot before or done a lot of physical exercise before. But he went and he started liking it, and gradually over a period of years, he built up to his first full marathon. He started with a 5-kilometer race, then 10 kilometer, then half marathon. And then he did the Dubai Marathon 3 times. He went for the Comrades Ultra Run as well, which he didn't finish because he was already injured when he went for the race. Okay. But I can see right in front of my own eyes that somebody who hasn't really been an active sports person can also, given the right circumstances and the right kind of attitude, do this. This is the closest to home example that I can give you. Right. I have also known of people who were not really sports people, but they completed up to Ironman.
Right.
So it's just about that making up your mind that yes, I do this, and you have to be able to like it. It's not just that I want to achieve that name or fame or whatever it is, but you genuinely have to be able to like the process. Right. And when that happens, you can do anything.
Right. So just wanted to ask you, person like me, yes, I have done couple of 10K, but not beyond that. But yes, I have a dream of having a one-day full marathon. But I have a interest as well as maybe I have that, will also that I will finish it one day. But, body maybe not support. But do you feel in that situation people can finish it off if you give proper guidance? Is it possible?
Yes, definitely. If you want to achieve that, the 17 hours that an Ironman allows you to do, take to finish that distance is sufficient, provided you prepare in the correct way, the correct duration of time that you need, because each person is different. Right. For somebody, it might take a year from zero to an Ironman. For somebody else, it might take 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Same for running. For someone, it might take a year to build from a 5 kilometer to a full marathon. For somebody else, it might take 1.5 to 2 years.
Oh,
But
okay.
gradually, yeah. And that is why we need to have coaches who understand how much this
Yes.
person is capable of taking.
Right.
And yeah, because you just don't go out and push yourself to a certain limit and then get injured or burnt out.
Yes,
So,
normally that
yeah.
happens because see, whenever we are pushing ourselves to do a half marathon maybe, and at the end after finishing that, yes, we are there in the bed for 6 days or 7 days, maybe we are not well, like that.
Yes, yes,
So yes, that
that's
means
right.
proper with the proper guidance or proper
Yes,
training, we can finish it
proper
off.
training. Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
That's something really very nice. Maybe it will help the people also who is listening right now, or maybe who has a dream of completing, full marathon one day or half marathon one day, starting from the 2 kilometer to 5, then going for the higher, for the marathon. Maybe it will help them listening to you. Yes, proper guidance can make us to achieve our
Yeah,
goal.
true. It's not just me. Anybody who is familiar with endurance sports, anybody who has had some experience, and anybody who is probably coaching for endurance sports will say the same thing. It might take, the duration that the person might need would be different in each case, but yeah, sure, definitely everybody can do it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really very nice, something. It's really nice. And see, if people wants to reach you, maybe see here in India, here in Bangalore itself, I have seen many women are running full marathon. Many women are there. We women are in the, we are focusing our, for the health, towards the health, and we want to be active now. We want to do something. We want to, run also. Many women run. So if the people somebody wants to reach you for the guidance, which way we can reach you? Is there?
I'm very active on the internet. I'm
Okay.
available on Facebook. I'm there on Instagram,
Okay.
and yeah, so people can reach out to me there. In fact, people have reached out to me through Facebook and Instagram before.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, and the other thing that I wanted to say is you don't necessarily need a coach as well. I wouldn't say that, because the sport is already expensive. Whether you want to run or you want to do a triathlon, and, there are some people who don't want to expend the money to pay a coach, and I don't say that everybody has to have a coach. So, the easiest way to do it, if you're really motivated, is you go online and you search for ready-made training plans. Okay, they are not personalized training plans, but they give you certain prerequisites. Like in order to start for training for an Ironman, you should be minimum able to swim for
Yes.
45 minutes. You
Right.
should be minimum able to ride your bike for 3 hours. You should be minimum able to, like they'll give you some prerequisites, and then you read that and you go through the training plan step by step as given. You can download the plan and do it yourself. That's not a problem. Yeah,
Right.
same thing for running. There are like couch to 5 kilometers, couch to 10 kilometers, then building from your 5 kilometers to a half marathon. There are all kinds of plans available online, so people can also make use of those and
Oh,
self-train if they are motivated enough. Yes.
right. Right.
Yeah.
But something maybe, guidance is always important, maybe, though it is available in the net, but still, I feel guidance is really very important. So, what is the minimum age of joining the triathlon? Is there any age, or people can join at any age?
Well, actually, it is any age. If it was any triathlon, like for example, for Ironman, it is 18 years and plus.
Okay, starting age is
Yeah,
18. Okay.
starting is 18 years.
What do you do as official? What is your responsibilities?
Our job as official is to record, to make sure that the event is taking place as per the rules
Right.
and as per the safety norms that are required.
As of now in India, full Ironman not happen, not organized.
In India, this is the first year, I think, that there will be a half Ironman.
in Goa.
Yeah, in Goa. Yes,
Right,
yes,
right.
correct.
So, do you feel, see, 15 already women are there, or maybe many men also there completed Ironman?
Oh, yes, yes. There are
Right.
lots of
So,
men who have done it. Yeah.
So, do you feel, is there any, what is the reason that we are not able to organize full Ironman here in India? Is there, do you feel any reason, or maybe, initiative is not there? How you feel? Or maybe in later future you can do it? What are the
No, well, there are two
requirements?
things, Ironman itself is, it is a company that obviously is there to make a profit. I mean, they don't do it for charity,
Okay.
right? They are a corporate. So they are obviously here because they will be making some money out of this sport. It's not for free, and it's the fees are also quite high. Sponsorship money that they receive is also sizable. So now where they come and where they would like to come and organize an event depends on the size of the field that they will receive, and at the end of it, whether it will be good for their image and good in terms of profit or not. That I cannot say at this point, but the fact that they have agreed to come for a half Ironman distance means that, maybe over a period of a few years, they might think of a full. They may or they may not. Like, for example, it has to be lucrative in terms of, because it's not just the Indians who will be doing the event. There will be people coming from all over the world. Like, for example, they had an event running in Sri Lanka for I think a couple of years they ran it. And then they had those unfortunate bomb blasts a few months ago in Sri Lanka. And then they said that, then Ironman said we are not going to hold the event again next year.
Okay.
Because because
they will look after everything, all the complete atmosphere. Maybe they will look after.
Yeah,
Right.
it is because they need to make sure that people do come and race. They cannot be holding an event and not having people to race, right? So, and there are lots of foreigners who come, lots of people from abroad and race in these events. It's not just the locals. So, yeah, that's why. So, if everything goes smoothly for a few years, and it also depends on how they get permission from the local authorities, because road closures for a whole day, it's tough. Like in Goa, for example, I'm sure they've had to have the Goa municipality and everybody involved in, the police, municipality and all, everybody involved in getting the road, obtaining the road closures, the security measures that they need and everything.
Everything has to fulfill. Yes. After that, maybe.
Yeah. So, and also depends on which city in India will be ready to close their roads for a whole day for such an event. Yeah. Yeah. So all those things are there. So I cannot really say whether they will come or they cannot come, but there is a possibility that in the long term they eventually will, depending on how things go in Goa.
True.
Yeah.
It is really wonderful talking to you, and loads of wishes, looking forward. You are pride of India, and I say that you are pride of Assam as well.
Oh, thank you so much, and thanks for having me over for the chat, and it's been wonderful chatting with you too.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is Preeti from the Preeti Bhuyan Talk Show with Radioactive 90.4 MHz. If you have any suggestion or want to share your own incredible story, you can reach us out on Facebook, Insta, Twitter and YouTube. Until next time, this is Preeti. Keep listening, keep loving, keep inspiring.